We've been talking about the uh, radiance of the sun. And in the book, Smile at Fear, one of the phrases that Chogyam uses is shining like the great eastern sun. And does anybody know what he was referencing? He uses it as a metaphor. Anybody have any sense? And there it is. This great eastern sun is radiantly shining just behind me. What what is the metaphor for?
Your sparkle matters.
Yeah,
Your sparkle matters.
the sparkle of each of us, uh, not just in our personalities, uh, not in our looks, not in the images we present, but actually from this quality of completely present and open heart. And so the Great Eastern Sun references these two qualities. One is the quality of mind, ever shining, ever present, always unobstructed, I think was a word he might have used. Um, Equanimous on all that it touches. The sun is not only touching me, it is touching this tree behind me, it is touching each leaf of this bush, and it is um, I don't want to call it indiscriminate because that suggests something else, but it is inclusive, might be then a word. Love by its nature is inclusive. And then we go, wait a minute, I don't love everybody. And so, what is that? Well, that's fear, says Trump. That's fear. Because the love we frequently imagine, particularly the one in our culture, is a special love, a love that we give to few, right? A love that is committed to family or children or partners or parents, but is not the kind of love that Chogyam is talking about. The one he's referencing is the one that includes and falls on all things. And so I'm just looking here now out over the Welcome Center's roof line, and I see what is probably a couple million leaves, literally, both in the pines and then in the eucalyptus, here in the California oak. And the sparkle that Dennis is talking about um, is what Chogyam is also talking about, which is the sun is shining on it all. And our practice and then our bodhisattva commitment is that. Um, that we do not come from a place of specialness. This is not the love of attachment. This love is a radiant love shining on all things and all beings at all times. But we then do not mistake that, by the way, and this is all I'm going to say today because we're going to keep our practice short. Uh, this does not mean that we don't say stop. This does not mean that we do not set limits. This does not mean that we let whatever's happening just happen. It means that whatever actions we take from that love, whatever intentions we set with that love, that it is never with aggression, it is never with hostility, It is never from a sense of separation or uh, you versus me, because then that is not love. And in fact, Chogyam says, what? That's fear. That actually are the criterion, isn't it? The hallmark and the realities of fear. And so we mistake these things, don't we? Quite often. We do separate, we do judge, not only others, by the way, but frequently and almost always beginning with ourselves. And then we say, um, that's justified, or it's because I'm right, or because I have been wronged, or because it's not fair, or because it's inconvenient. And we then justify our aggression rather than, says the teachings here, opening most compassionately, most lovingly, most completely as best we can in the moment to that fear in us. Another way we've been talking about it here in retreat is befriending and attending to that fear. That is then the first work, not changing the other. And we have an entire political system, don't we, based on demanding change in the other without first what? Changing the quality of our own being. And we will not fall into that, but practice even today with this idea that before we can be successful, skillful, a word called upaya, and beneficial, we must first attend to our own fear and offer that love or that compassion first and foremost to ourselves. We've had a tough time here practicing with that. We've had really very clear evidence that we have then now used the idea of love as loving it till it goes away, loving it till it becomes what I need. This is now using love like a weapon or an instrument. And of course, in our Christian tradition, it says love is an instrument, but it cannot begin with the idea that from loving you, I can change you. Uh, but it is true in loving you, I can change me. Beautiful beginning. And so we're going to focus on that here today. We're going to be practicing for just about, let's say, 20, 25 minutes. We'll just hear a little bit from our group and then sign off. We have a lot of people coming today at 9 o'clock. I'm so excited. Uh, and if you haven't signed up and are able to join us, please do. Let Carrie know. We'll put Carrie's number down there for you so you can join us today. And so the practice that we have been working on will feel a little different because we've really been investing ourselves in resting in open space. And so this practice, some of you have done it before, some of you have not. And so be watchful because um, I'll give you some instruction around it. This is called the non-meditation meditation. If you've been in retreat, we've certainly worked on it. We've tried here a couple times on Zoom. Might be a little more challenging, but see if you can't find a sense of open space in the space that you're sitting in. And I happen to be
Aw.
looking up
Esther wanted to get up at 6:15 and cuddle and kiss. Hi, baby.
at the clouds above us and the brilliant blue sky beyond that. So maybe you can find something in your space, or maybe even turn looking out a window. Carrie's just moved herself because she really doesn't need to be seeing the screen. And I would not recommend that you look at the screen, by the way. So find a space, an open space. And I'm going to strike the bell. And wherever that space is that you're looking, you're just watching the sound. I'm going to use these crazy words, move out into that open space. We're just going to start there. Let's see how it goes. Wonderful to have you all here this morning. So, finding your space, resting the gaze there. Be careful not to stare. It is not that. There should be a regular blinking, um, natural eye gaze. You're not avoiding objects. I don't have to not see the clouds now, but I'm also recognizing the objects. Here comes the blackbird flying across. I'm not looking, but I'm also not trailing the bird. There's another sparrow just flew above me. I'm resting my gaze. The way this is described often, and then I'm going to ring the bell, is as a child seeing a sky or a bird or a tree for the very first time. And then you do not know it. You are just completely merged or joined or enthralled or in awe of it. And it does not have a name. It is not limited to the thing, but you're holding the whole scape, looking, resting in open space as we watch the objects come and go. Here's the bell. As watching the sound move out and into open space. I'm going to ring it again. The breath is natural, unfabricated, not managed in any way at all. Remember blinking naturally. But we're also not looking for something. And this can be a second habit. Um, we're not avoiding objects, and we are not looking at the objects. We're looking in the open space in which objects are simply arising and passing. Natural wakefulness. Seeing things in their appearance and their disappearance, though we're not tracking them. We are resting in the open space, just seeing the bird flutter in and out, not following the bird in any way, just resting the gaze. This is sometimes called child's mind. And here I am, like a 4-year-old laying on the grass, looking up at the sky, seeing its vastness, and then seeing how the clouds move and change. Remember, I'm not following that. I'm resting this gaze in open space. But because of that stability, because of that stillness, in fact, I can see the reality of continuous change. And we're just resting in and resting with. For some people, because they end up in a slight stare, you might need to close the eye for a moment. And when you close the eye, see if you can't still rest in open space. And the support you have in this practice is following the out breath to its end, making contact with the stillness at the end of the breath, and opening the mind into open space. And you might notice as you do that sounds. You might notice sensations or thoughts coming and going just like those clouds. We're not preventing the sounds or the thoughts. We're not making up sounds or thoughts. We're not trying to get rid of sounds or thoughts at all. And rest the eyes for a moment. Natural meditation, natural wakefulness. Shining with eyes open or eyes closed. That radiant light of awareness on that vast open space and whatever arises and passes within it. Resting in open space means grabbing onto or pushing away nothing. And once you've rested the eye for a moment, settled the eyes, relaxed the lids, you can open the eyes again. And I'm looking up, and so I'm noticing there's a little bit of weariness in my eye for that. But I could look in open space right here in front of me. I'll try to speak a little louder. And then we can begin to notice where the eyes get caught or the ears get caught. There is a gurgling filter here in the brook that we're sitting next to, and I'm noticing a little attention moving out of open space to that. And that's not a problem. It is that we don't get stuck there. I'm hearing it. Can I allow the hearing to happen? That too is arising and passing in open space, just like seeing. We're not trying to get rid of them. We're not trying to be consumed by them. This is a practice of equanimity, a practice of non attachment and non aversion. Can I also not be irritated by the sound, see the sound as a problem, but actually simply allowing, as I rest in open space, the sound to appear and be and change and fade back into the vast open space. Now, in natural wakefulness, the habit is to get stuck in the eye door, but the practice is to open all the sense doors equally: the felt sense, the nose, the mouth, hearing, and seeing, without being gripped or caught or bracing against, rejecting, or shutting down to anything. Some people call this neutral. I don't think so. I think it's actually open. I think we cultivate the quality of open heartedness, which is not neutral. And if the eye becomes weary and it begins to feel effortful, we once again change the eye door. If it's feeling like you're getting mired in objects, not able to find the open space, you can simply choose to rest the eye closed or in a soft gaze. And just hold that open space in which then sounds arising and passing. With each out breath, we soften the body. There is no particular attention to the breath, but you will notice the sensations of the breath as the body, here and there. When you notice it, use it skillfully to soften, release, relax the body. They say that meditation is the hardest meditation there is. Because of the egoic mind that grabs on, that clings to, or rejects some part of life. This is always understood to be fear arising. Remember, it is not in the noticing, it is in the gripping. I just saw the shadow of a butterfly behind my head, and it just found its way onto the screen. And the work is not to see that. Remember, the work is not to grip that or need to keep that or to hold that for my personal succor. Life arising, life passing, and me fully present in its experiencing. you will notice this gripping, greedy nature of mind as you fall on an object, particularly one that maybe you like, and then you land on it and you lose the open space and drink in the sucre of the object. Uh, in and of itself, it doesn't look so bad, but it is the beginning or the seed of an essential habit. Give me the goodies. And we want to be watchful of that. And then just recognizing opening back into open space. No pushing, no clinging, no gripping, no rejecting. This is the true open heart. And then we begin to recognize, and can we do so with compassion, all of the ways that we're clinging. We can catch the mind in these little moments, just grip. And it's subtle and it may be light, but recollect that all seeds without attention can grow. And so we're just attending to this quality of open, spacious mind. Remember, if the mind becomes sticky, uh, you notice it starting to grab objects, you lower the eye, find the out breath, drop in, and then opening at the end of the out breath. That's called light touch. This is sometimes called a non-doing meditation, but the minute we say it, we start doing something. So I tend not to use that language. But resting in natural wakefulness, the radiant light of awareness, shining on all things, including vast open space and particularly vast open space. And then seeing the shade and shadow of all things simply as they come and go. The mind and body are equally present because, of course, there is no seeing, there is no hearing, there is no knowing without the mind and body. So you're not, again, even trying to get rid of things that are happening in the body. Just watching as they also appear in vast space and then disappear. You will notice the need to what we call adjust the aperture. I just noticed my mind kind of gluing itself to a little leaf that has landed on the roof of the Welcome Center here, and I'm recognizing the kind of grip onto that. And in the recognition, you smile and you open back up. And I have the beautiful felt sense of the sky behind me and open space all around. And then we rest back. As we rest in open space, we recognize this as our own natural quality, the quality of our own minds and the quality of our open heart. And we can bring those qualities then not only to objects appearing and disappearing in our uh, external world, we can bring them to the internal qualities, the thoughts that arise, the emotions that appear, and really relate and hold them in exactly the same way, creating lots of space and lots of room for whatever comes. And the reason we do it, it's not just simply to see it, to know it. It's to see it and know it so that we can most lovingly, most compassionately, most wholeheartedly respond. And we cannot respond in that way from the grip or from the aversion. We cannot respond from greed or hatred or aggression skillfully. And then closing the eyes, resting the neck if your head was up like mine was. And then as we end, we send warm wishes and blessings. We send the desire that all those things, in all their coming and all their going, may they be well. And we also wish that we ourselves, in our appearances and our disappearances, in all of our change, in all that is arising and passing within our own heart, minds, and bodies, may we be well. May we all be well. and may all manner of thing then be well. And may this practice today contribute. So I'm just going to do a little checking in. We have a few more moments before we need to go to get ready for our those coming to retreat. Um, so how was that practice? What was your observations? What did you notice? Where did you find that sticky mind? Where did you see it in its release? How was that?
Good morning, Di.
Hi, how are you? Good morning.
I this morning I'm sitting in a space that I don't typically sit in. So for me it was lovely to be able to let in the light and just in an environment I think that was new for me. So it was a lot easier. Had I been in my typical spot, I wonder if that would have been more challenging for me. But
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that? You're supposing something likely correct, Dia. What do you think it is?
well, the nuance, the newness of all of it,
Yeah.
right? It's so much easier to
Yeah.
be open
Yeah.
when you're in a fresh environment.
Yeah. Do you know why?
I'm guessing that it's interesting, it's more enjoyable to the mind because it's different.
Yeah. You have not yet established the minds of attachment and aversion by habit. Everything new, everything fresh, everything as is, right? We could say nothing like that's got to get dusted. I have to put that away. That mug, somebody moved my mug. It should be over here. How come they didn't lock the door? Right? Because we have all of these really infinite levels, don't we? Of preference, of wanting it this way, of needing it to be a certain way. When we arrive fresh into the moment, there is none of that yet. We have to then what? Imbue the present moment with all the gunk. We gunk it up, folks, with it's got to be like this and it can't be like that. And oh, there's dust over there. Who didn't do that? Really, don't we know these minds? And so this is called child's mind. And it is exactly as you are describing it. It is fresh, it is new, it is in its awe. There's only wonder, curiosity, and openness in it. And you don't feel stuck because you don't even know what it is. There's nothing to grab yet. It is described as, where do you hear the definition of open, spacious awareness? It is as if a bird had crossed the sky and you are resting in its trail. Not even the bird, because you don't even grab that, right? And it's so quick and it's so fleeting and it's so temporary and impermanent. You can't even grip it. And so the only thing that is then left is the trace of the bird in the sky, which is what? Just space. That fleeting, right? And then what? Because of our fear about that, I think, right? Our, ooh, but it was beautiful, or it was mine, or it was horrible. We get into all kinds of mind movement. And if it was only mind, maybe we wouldn't even care. It's beyond mind. Then the heart is contracting in relationship to all of that as well. Where that mind moves, there is heart contracting. Even when we call it love. So be careful, because we call it love like this, don't we? That's whatever else is true, that is not love. That's fear happening that we mistake for love because of our wanting it, right? And we grip it and we squeeze it. And in some amazing way, and I really do mean this, we kill it. Don't we? We kill it. You gotta be, right? It's gotta be, love looks like that. This is nothing but consistent fear really happening. Our definition of fear here during retreat is anything other than that vast, open, spacious love. That's what we've come to. Anything other than that vast, open, spacious, wonder, awe, inclusion, shining, bright light. So there you are. It was just like you were at retreat. Any other thoughts before we go? Keep practicing. They say, by the way, that this is not a 30-minute sitting practice, by the way. They say that this practice is dropping in, opening up, resting in open space for several breaths. There it is. That if you sit for 30 minutes, for example, Pema's joke is you might start with the bell and end with the bell, and the whole thing was just the ending bell. The only moment you were in finally was the last bell. The whole rest of the time you were doing something else. And I think it's probably mostly correct. You were thinking about not thinking. You were thinking about resting in open space. You were thinking about the definition of open space. Where is it really? Is this it? Maybe it isn't, because now there's a bird. And you can't find it. You can only know it, is what's often said, right? Jane's nodding, so she knows what I mean, right? You can't look for it because the minute you're already in all of that we just named, but it's everywhere always, with objects appearing and disappearing. I think one of the reasons people love the mountains is both the mountain is clear, but as well the vast open space in which it sits, right? And I think we're in awe. The ocean for the same reason, right? You recognize the ocean, but it is not only, it is the vastness that is all within and around it that brings us awe. And Chogyam says, know yourself like this. Isn't that lovely? Know yourself like this potential. I am not limited by name or gender or habit or fear at all. And I love that new identity. I think we should all keep it. Okay. Everyone, can we say our final prayer, ending our time today? Thank you all for joining me. Sorry you can't be here. September 30th through October I jumped a couple months. September 30 through October 4 are the dates we're going to hopefully secure today for our fall retreat. That gives everybody a lot of days to figure out how to get here. I can't think of a reason unless you're dead. And then we'll call your name. So you'll still be here. Right? But I can't think of one. Now, if you live in Israel, I'm going to give it to Leslie. There may be something legitimate for her. Robin, okay, a little. She's in Arizona. Right, okay. She has a partial out. But the rest of you, not so much. Not so much. Because otherwise, I know what you're actually doing over there. Just a lot of this. Right? Just a lot of this. And you have enough time now that unless that's a mandatory, gotta go do it, you can find your way. And so I'll look forward to that with all of you. Okay, here we are. Let's prepare for the prayer. This is the most open, spacious heart there is. Why? We're opening everything. The eye door, the ear door, the hands. We only gather the hands to be gathering that essential, vast, open heart. You could hold the hands out. It would be as relevant and meaningful. In fact, I'll do that today just so you see that there's no one way. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings. May I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. May we all have happiness and the causes for happiness. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all know the great happiness devoid of suffering. May we all rest and dwell in that vast, open, infinite, and radiant space of not only this world, but our own heart minds, until all beings are free and all beings are awake. And may our practice this very morning contribute, and may it continue in those little moments, the gap moments here and there throughout the day. And may we all be well, and may there be peace. Thank you all for joining. Chris, so good to see you. I look forward to seeing you more. Jane, good to see you. I'll look forward to you all practicing with this throughout this weekend on this Mother's Day weekend. You've all
Happy
had
Mother's Day.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much to all the mothers everywhere, regardless of gender. Be well.